These are called factor of change problems. There's a couple methods of doing these. I'm going to show you the method I want to see and that you're going to use to show me that you understand how these work. There is one limitation. I'll show that when we get to it. But so on the first slide, it's my class problem slide that I'll do with you, and then you guys are going to just copy this along on your next slide, and then it should be labeled class problem student. So here, up in this box here are the basic guidelines, the rules. You're gonna treat these like they're a problem, but they're gonna give you less information. Like they're not gonna give you actual numbers. They're gonna give you like multipliers. And we'll just jump to the problem here. A car triples its final speed, so VF doesn't equal 3. It's gonna be 3 times as great, so times 3. From rest, so VI, well, it's definitely 0. Constant acceleration, so A is going to stay constant. So this is me doing like we do with all the problems. We list the variables first. So we're up here listing the variables. Now, but like I said, factor of change questions do not have actual numbers, but you'll still treat them. They still sound like a problem. How much further will the car travel? Well, there's my unknown, my D. So I'm going to write D equals question mark. So I have my variables like I would. Determine the equation. We do it like we've done all along, right? We're going to look, what do we have? VF, VI, A, and D. There is no mention of time. So we don't want an equation with T in it. Yeah, correct. I said that backwards. We don't want T, right? It never mentioned it. We don't want it. So we need to, we can cross off these equations. Now, you'll have to go to the note sheet to get these equations, but I just have them here for simplicity. This would be our equation. The VF squared equals VI squared plus 2AD. And then just a reminder, we're going to write the equation as is. And then we're going to fill it. So that's determine equation. Cross out any variables that are 0. So these next two steps. So cross out anything that's 0. Change any variables that do not change. So anything that stays constant, we're going to make it a 1. And then change all the other all the other variables to whatever was stated in the problem. So we're going to not do any algebra yet. We're just going to put in what we know. So VF, right, was multiplied by 3, and then since it's squared, we got to square it. Now, don't tell me it's 9. I know your brain wants to write 9. I need to know that you know it's 3 squared. Now, 0 squared is just 0. So VI is 0. And then like the problem said, you could technically just cross that out. Or like the rules state. But just, it's 0 regardless. 2 is a constant, right? That 2 is never going to change. As we do equation after equation, that 2 is never going to change. So it becomes a 1. The acceleration said it was constant, so it becomes a 1. And then we can solve for D. Well, 1 times 1, D, right, plus 0. D is going to equal 3 squared, which is, so it's going to multiply by 9. If you triple your speed, you're going to actually go 4 times, from rest, you're going to go 9 times further based on this criteria. And then that would be your answer. So that's your setup, and then there's your answer. Now, if you did have to do some algebra, you would do it off to the side, do it, manipulate the equation, whatever you want to do. Any math, remember to do math if needed, off to the side, just like we've done all the problems. But you don't have to show me, right? That's for you. What else do we got here? We solved it. Might as well check that off. There was one more thing. Oh, these rules, where did these come from? What we're doing, instead of doing all this math, these rules are kind of a shortcut. All right, guys, to save some time, I paused the video and then I wrote this all out. This is what I've written down in blue down here is the actual process to solving these. It's not overly complicated, it's just long. So the rules allow us just a quick little shortcut. The rule fails, however, when you would have like up here, how VI squared was 0. If that was a number, the rules can't account for that. So then I'm going to walk you through the long way in case that ever happens. I'm going to try to avoid that for you. You never know, one might slip through. But so the equation was, right, the VF squared. Like, we're not going to change that. That's the relationship between all those variables. And now for these ones, I am going to manipulate the equation algebraically for what I'm looking for. I'm looking for D. Now, there's the initial terms, right, where I'm just going along at a normal speed, and then there's my final terms where I want to know what happens when I triple my speed. So this is it's kind of a proportion, a ratio. We're going to put df over di. I want my final in terms of my initial. And then the equation is going to be the same for final and initial because the variables are all the same. So with my manipulation, I get VF squared minus VI squared over 2A, right? I just took VI squared to the other side and divided out the 2A. Now I'm going to do that for the final numbers and the initial numbers. Now I didn't subscript these any differently, but all this stuff up here is really like the after conditions. And all this stuff, right, all this stuff in this, here, I'll redraw this line. All this stuff in the numerator up here are all the after conditions. All this stuff in the numerator up here is the final conditions. In the denominator, you got the initial conditions. And then I'm going to do basically what I did up there. I don't know what VF is, but I know the final condition is going to be 3 times that. So I got 3VF squared. Now VI is 0. If it was something, I would leave it as VI. Divided by 2A. And then I don't know what A is. I'm just going to leave it as A. So that's all my final conditions. Initial conditions, I was going VF, so I put a little 1 there. It's whatever speed you were initially going at. Squared minus, again, I started from rest, so that's 0. And then again, 2 over A. Now it's a little bit of math. The zeros go away, and then that's what was happening in our rules, right? Anything with 0 went away. The 2A, right? 2A divided by 2A, you're gonna end up canceling that out. And what you're going to end up with is 3VF squared over VF, whoops, that's VF, squared. And then the VF, you're going to get a squared here and a squared here. The VF squareds cancel out, and you're left with 3 squared, which is 9, which is exactly what we got up here. It's just a shortcut for you. Let me know if you have questions.